So welcome to the EDA meeting / retreat. I'm glad to see everyone here so bright and early. We're going to take the first hour or so of the agenda for the retreat to do our board meeting. So welcome and do the roll call.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Mr. Hines.
Present.
Mr. Kovacic.
Present.
Ms. Link. Mr. Mitchell.
Present.
Ms. Revel.
Here.
Mr. Scott.
Present.
Mr. Smith. We have a quorum.
Okay, excuse me, the next item is the approval of the February minutes. I trust that everyone got those and had a chance to look at them. Do I have any corrections or additions?
Madam Chair, I'd move that we adopt minutes.
Okay. Mr. Moore?
Mr. Hines.
Yes.
Mr. Kovacic.
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Ms. Revel.
Yes.
Mr. Scott.
Yes.
Motion carries.
And that brings us to the financials. We first have to do the January that we did not do at our February meeting, so we will let finance.
This morning, we did go over January financial and as well as February financial. As of January 31st, total cash and investment were $1,575,562. Total current asset was $316,082. Capital asset totaled $1,205,661. Other assets, including property held for resale and cash held in escrow, totaled $6,930,686. Total assets were $20,027,990, and total liability were $5,149,707, and net position at January 31st totaled $14,878,284. Operating expense for the month of January totaled $58,576, and non-operating income totaled $10,569, and non-operating expense totaled $70,417. Also, this is also including $60,000 for local incentive grant payment. And for month of February, total cash and investment were $1,449,419, and current asset were $316,082, and capital asset totaled $1,205,661. Other assets, including property held for resale and cash held in escrow, totaled $16,930,686. Total assets at February 28 were $19,901,847. Total liability were $5,131,612. And net position at February 28 total $14,770,235. Operating expense for the month of February totaled $76,325. This actually was reimbursement to the city attorney's office for the legal costs associated with Victory Crossing, and non-operating income totaled $942, and non-operating expense totaled $32,665. This is for the local incentive grant payment. For the month of February, the decrease in net position was $108,048. I'm happy to answer any question you may have.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
For the development property, Victory Village, we had a $3,000 expense in grounds maintenance. Any idea what that might?
What line are you on?
On page It is on page, it's the unaudited pooled cash, page 7, I believe. Yes. Victory Village 310, and the line items are legal, grounds maintenance, and utilities, $3,345. And if it's not something you have the answers to now, we just kind of get back.
I'm sorry, what's the question?
I just want to know what we were expected that amount. Is that going to be our new grounds costs for that, like on an ongoing basis? Is that going to be?
We'll talk about that in later on in the meeting.
Okay, so you'll have an answer to that later. Thank you.
Do you have any additional questions on the financials? So I don't think we need a motion, we just
Send those to audit.
send these to be reviewed for audit. Old business.
Should be February already.
We did February, yes. Old business, the budget ad hoc committee, Mr. Kowalczyk, I just need an update. Are you guys planning to meet or what's?
Yes, we have a meeting scheduled tomorrow, I believe.
Okay.
Tomorrow afternoon.
Yes.
Okay. And so we will be hearing from them at our April meeting.
Yes.
And then we will vote on our budget at the May meeting.
Yes.
Okay. New business, state of the city. Mr. Moore?
Yes, so we have a couple things on the new business that we need to address quickly this morning. First would be the state of the city, which is April the 5th at 12 o'clock. You all normally having a table at this meeting and at this event. So we are asking again this year, you all would have a table, PPIC would have a table, staff may potentially have a table. So we are looking for your participation. I believe we have heard from at least one commissioner about their availability, but we are hoping that you all will be able to attend the mayor's annual event.
Madam Chair, if I could
Yes.
just- I think actually you may be referring to my RSVP on that. At this point, I do have a work conflict. I am going to try to make another change for that. I do support the mayor and the state of the city, but work conflict might actually be in the way.
So, Mr. Moore, there's a cost associated with that?
Yes.
Okay.
The
So
table,
you just
yes.
asked to authorize that?
The table is $500, if I'm not mistaken, same as last year. So we would ask that you all give us a consensus to authorize the ordering of that table, as well as to get a head count of who will be here, so that we can fill the tables accordingly.
I would say yes. For those that can't fill the table, maybe we can invite some of our business partners that maybe we've done
Yes.
facade improvement grants with it, or other partnerships that we've done in the past year with it.
Yes, that is the plan. That we will just base that off of, again, the number of individuals who will not be attending. That way we'll know how many seats we have. So if you could let us know as quickly as possible, as that meeting is, or that event is in about 3 weeks now, so, 2 weeks. So please let us know.
So do we need a motion to expend that money, or is that just?
I think so.
No,
Okay.
just a consensus is
Okay.
fine. I would be remiss, though, on the next, if I can, Chair, if anyone knows that they will be attending or not attending, please let me know now. So Ms. Lee Ogilvy can take a head count. Anyone know? Okay. Just let us know as soon as possible, please. I would like to take a second to step back just for a brief moment. I am pleased to announce that while the city continues to grow from a development standpoint, development staff continues to grow as well. We have a new member of our staff, Ms. Jessica Biedenbaugh. I will allow her to stand up and say a few things about herself. But we are very excited to have her on the team. Ms. Biedenbaugh will be leading our what we call our business intelligence, which is our marketing and research aspect. And I'll turn it over to Ms. Biedenbaugh.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for having me. I've met most of you already, but for those of you that Haven't met me yet. I am somewhat local. I've been here about a decade now, so that counts as much as anywhere. I'm a military brat, so a decade counts. I'm Old Dominion grad. Both my BS and MA are from Old Dominion University. I've spent some time working in medical devices, technology, and real estate. Most recently, I was in an agency focusing on municipal infrastructure. So I'm really excited to join the Portsmouth family and focus on economic development. Mr. Moore, thanks to you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And then on the last part of new business, we certainly wanted to recognize some former members who are long-standing members of the EDA team. I know Commissioner Hines had requested this. We told you that we would certainly work on that. We do have resolutions of appreciation for Mr. Aaron Kelly and Ms. Miriam Jiggets. Certainly we have this here, and I'll let the chair read these, but we do have these in recognition of those members.
This is for Mr. Kelly. Whereas Mr. Kelly served on the Board of Commissioners of the Economic Development Authority for the City of Portsmouth from January 2010 through December of 2018, and whereas Mr. Kelly shared his time, his energy, and his enthusiasm for the betterment of the City of Portsmouth, and whereas Mr. Kelly showed through his actions that he truly cares about the people who live, work, and do business in the City of Portsmouth, and now, therefore, the Economic Development Authority of the City of Portsmouth recognizes the significant contributions of Mr. Kelly over the course of his years of dedicated service. Adopted by the Board of Commissioners of the Economic Development Authority of the City of Portsmouth, Virginia, this 19th day of March, 2019.
And then we can vote on these, so we can certainly do individual votes.
And I'll do Ms. Jiggets, and then we'll take the vote. Whereas Ms. Jiggets served on the Board of the Commissioners of the Economic Development Authority of the City of Portsmouth from January 2015 through December of 2018, and whereas Ms. Jiggets shared her time, her energy, and her enthusiasm for the betterment of the City of Portsmouth, and whereas Ms. Jiggets showed through her actions that she truly cares about the people who live, work, and do business in the City of Portsmouth, and now, therefore, the Economic Development Authority of the City of Portsmouth recognizes the significant contributions of Ms. Jiggets over the course of her years of dedicated service. Adopted by the Board of Commissioners of the Economic Development Authority of the City of Portsmouth, Virginia, this 19th day of March, 2019.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
before we take that vote, do we maybe get a consensus on maybe extending some funds to maybe mat it up nice, make a nice frame for them? Present it to them in such a way that instead of just handing them a certificate or something, a little bit more nicer. Is that a possibility? Nice frame. Because both of them put a lot of time, energy, and effort in, and it would be a minimal expense.
Wouldn't we vote for them?
No.
No, we just, let's just do it, yeah.
So, but I mean, everyone.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you. With that, I take a motion to adopt those resolutions as presented. Second.
Mr. Hines?
Yes.
Mr. Gabachik?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Ms. Revel?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
it looks like we're about done with our new business. And maybe new legal might need to step in and correct maybe my form, I guess, maybe, but there are two items. And I don't know if we need to take a vote here to possibly address these in our retreat, or maybe they were omitted even after the request that we submitted to you in writing. Two items of major concern, and I'm not sure if we have to vote or not, but at one of our meetings, we've had some conflict regarding our PRHA and the EDA and that land transfer process where we've had developers confused as to who held this. And part of the confusion is that we usually don't take a formal vote to accept these properties. So anybody who's kind of paying attention would not necessarily know in the public as to when these transfers are taking place. I think it's important that we have a process when we transfer intergovernmentally from one body to another, especially if this is going to continue, which is actually a great idea. I think we're going to see a lot of success with these transfers. But I think it would be good to have some sort of formalized process. And I'd like to add that item to discussion for the retreat portion of our meeting. The second is the facade improvement grant. There was some discussion last month and a concern by one of our commissioners. And the same concern was echoed by one of our council liaisons, Mr. Moody, in regards to the flipping of properties after we award these facade improvements. I think we should add that as an additional item. If it's not being covered in the larger context of the retreat already, I'd like for us to add those two to our agenda for the retreat. And again, I'm not sure how we have to formalize that in a form of a motion, or if that is something that maybe you're going to come back with a later date to give us that information. I'm not sure, but I thought we kind of had a understanding we were going to discuss those two items.
So, Mr. Miller, do we need a motion to add these to the agenda, or do we just plug them in?
If I may.
Yes.
First, the update on, those items were not omitted. They were located somewhere else in today's discussion.
Okay.
And certainly some of those items will be addressed in closed session. And then there are some items that will be addressed during the retreat. However, I will say, not jumping around, but the format of the retreat, and I'll leave this to Ms. Puryear, is that we kind of have a template. City Council has 4 big things, and her view of the retreat is going to be how EDA fits in those 4 big things. So a lot of this will be addressed, whether directly or indirectly. There are some items when we go into closed session, you will understand why we are discussing those in closed session, but they were not omitted.
Okay. And it's just that I want to make sure when people do pay attention to us, a lot of times people don't think they do, but they do pay attention to us. And I want to make sure that we're as transparent as we possibly can be, especially when we're talking about land transfers and developers not knowing where to go for answers. That isn't, in my opinion, being very business friendly. So I wanted to at least put that out there. If you're going to cover it, thank you very much.
And I'm sorry if I could, I've
Yes.
taken the liberty of putting that in the parking lot, which we always keep for these kinds of things that come up in discussions, so that we can circle around and make sure that A, we have addressed it, or B, that there's some kind of a future plan to address it, so that we make sure we capture all those comments.
You can always count on us per year, Darcy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hines, for kicking us off.
Sorry, I jumped ahead of the retreat. Thank you, Madam Chair.
So I think we're going to go into closed session. Mr. Scott.
I move to go into closed session, closed meeting pursuant to Virginia Code subsection 2.2-3711A.3 for the purpose of discussing the disposition of publicly held real property where discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body, specifically regarding the Victory Crossing site, the City Hall relocation project, 602 5th Street and 818 County Street, and pursuant to Virginia Code subsection 2.2-3711A.5 for the purpose of discussion concerning a prospective business or industry or the expansion of an existing business or industry where no previous announcement has been made.
Second.
Mr. Hines,
Yes.
Mr. Kovacic,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Ms. Rebel,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
We are in closed session. And Mr. Hines,
Yes.
Mr. Kovaci?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Ms. Rebel?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
All right, we're in open session. And then we need to vote on the LOI.
Okay.
Yes. So we need a,
I move that we approve the LOI with the 602 Fifth Street property in Portsmouth.
Second.
Mr. Hines?
Yes.
Mr. Kovaci?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Ms. Rebel?
yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
All right, motion carries.
Hopefully we won't let you guys down. Hopefully we'll create another 100 jobs.
I need one.
We will be following up with you.
Please
Thank
do,
you.
like yesterday. Thank you.
We're working on it right now.
Fantastic.
If y'all see, if y'all know of any entities that can help us with bringing entry-level employees in and taking them up the line, we're very interested in that.
So I'm going to talk to the school superintendent, see if there's a way they can start working.
That would be magnificent to talk to some guidance counselors, school superintendents. We'd like to get to them early enough to where we can condition their brains to say it's all right to be a welder, it's all right to be a machinist, it's all right to work in a skilled trade, and we can start the trend going the other way. But we really need skilled people. Thank you very much.
Good luck.
We maybe broke for a meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
I would say, thank you, sir. I think where our work begins is with parents. In this society, all parents start with, my child must go to college. And we have become a society where it's just because 35 people in public works that are getting ready to retire, they have no one, according to Jim Baker, to take those entry-level jobs, which are welding, plumbing, electricity, HVAC, and the jobs that American parents right now aren't focusing their children on. But if you saw the Federal Reserve chair on 60 Minutes, not this past Sunday, Sunday before last, he said America's going to wake up and there are going to be over 30 million jobs that they will not be able to fill because we are not preparing our children for the jobs that are of the future. And that's what's going to happen to us.
And I wish I knew where to work, but you've got a better idea. We were talking about working with 6th grade guidance counselors.
We need to start in 1st grade, preschool,
There you go.
and that's what we'll be willing to do with you.
Well, I like your vision, because that's what we need to do.
That's it.
And what are we going to do 20 years from now?
I'm not going to be there.
But we have to worry about what's going to happen 20 years from now. We're not going to be able to produce a ship. We're not going to be able to build things. What are we going to do as a society? I mean, those are the people that's going to have to carry the day, manufacturing and being able to do things.
And I'll add one more sentence from that 60 Minutes, that no one is paying attention to the millions of Americans who our young people are addicted to opioids. So you count all those millions gone. And those are the things we need to be focusing our attention on, because we are here and we're going to be gone. But what is America going to have in the next 30 to 40 years? That's what Portsmouth is going to begin to look at.
Well, we're right here with you.
Thank you, sir.
I started my education in, well, I didn't start. I went to high school in Portsmouth, Virginia, at a place called Frederick Military Academy.
Yes, I'm sure.
I don't know if y'all remember that or
We
not.
just talked about it.
That's where it began for us. And then, of course, we come back to Portsmouth and we want to grow here in Portsmouth. And I think maybe we've got a relationship started here where
Yes,
we can
we
work
do.
together.
Absolutely.
Thank
And
you.
if we ever need people to go out to the schools and speak, we've got a management team that would be happy to go out there and speak and just plant the seeds in those young folks, knowing that you can. It's okay to make a living as a welder or machinist. It's okay. It's a good way to do it.
I think it starts with that career technical education piece at the school level, and I think you need to get some champions there in our school system. And I think part of our role here should be to encourage workforce development to meet the needs of our community. Our community is a little bit different than the community in New York City or Chicago.
Absolutely.
We really need to make that a focus, I think, of maybe this body, along with the city manager, along with Mr. Moore, to be able to help, put the workforce in place for the needs of this area, this particular area. So I think it would be a great place to start.
Well, you can count on us as being a partner in that. So when things develop, you can rely on us. Give us a call, say, look, we get a speaker over here at this event, and we'll get out there and do it. Even if I do it myself, I'd be happy to do it. But thank you very much for your consideration. We really appreciate that, and we look forward to a bright future here in Portsmouth.
Sounds great, thank you.
Yes,
Could I
sir.
just 1 minute, have this gentleman to tell you the kind of student he's looking for? They must have mastery of what, sir?
Oh, well, it's
Trigonometry, math,
mathematics, geometry,
All the math
trigonometry are all
children
functions
must know. That's
of the
the
work
issue.
we perform. Yeah, sorry.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Patton put me on the spot.
I know that's what you are looking for, and we must make sure our children know trigonometry, calculus, physics, and all of those subjects. If they're not prepared there, they will not get the jobs.
But we're a team, we're team players, so let us know what we can do to help with this, and we'll reach out to you guys too. But if y'all have any programs, if you need any funding or any sponsorships or whatever, let us know, because we're in the game.
Sounds wonderful, thank you.
So we're out. So we're out.
We adjourn? Move to
Okay.
adjourn?
Yeah.
Move to adjourn?
We're adjourned. Yeah.
Second.